So one day is one day when I have my talk show, when I am sitting in my studio having conversations with great people, great leaders, great men and women of thought, I will look back at this recording and laugh because, wow.
Welcome to the Lighthouse, where conversations like ocean waters flow naturally. We hope to enlighten you. We hope to equip you as you journey through this thing called life. May you find what you're searching for, and may it be as great as the stars above.
Hello, everybody. Oh my God. Welcome to the first episode, first conversation of the Lighthouse with me, Zimkita Mlanzeli. I am excited that today I am joined by Luvuyo Ngxiki. His friends call him Vovo. Unfortunately, I don't have the privilege as yet, hint, hint, to call him Vovo, but I do have the honor of having him as my first guest. And he is the founder, owner of iinkumbuzo photography, and he's based out in Port Elizabeth. Mkhaya! Whoa, son! Okay, so Luvuyo will be joining me and we will be in conversation, a message I chose to title Through Your Inner Lens, because he's a photographer, must play with words. So we will be talking about how to start and how to move forward in these hectic times of crisis in our country and in the world, basically. But we'll be focusing more on how to use the skills that we have to better move forward, the skills and the resources. And I thought Luvuyo would be the perfect fit because his life journey is just so amazing. And again, for those who do not know the man, look him up, follow him. He's done amazing things. He is really from rags to riches Cinderella story. Real time, real life South African Cinderella man. And I've just been watching his growth. And the man is just a world of wisdom and knowledge. And I wanted to take this opportunity so that he can share his insights with us. And I hope this will be as enlightening for you guys as it is for me. So, hello. All about it.
Hello.
Wow. Enkosi kakhulu. I was just praying into bana yo Nkosi yami ngaske ngento ihambe kakuhle. Yeah. Enkosi kakhulu ngexesha lakho. This is, like I said, ngobendikufuna ku Facebook. This is basically the first conversation that I'm having, and I'm so honored that I get to have it with you. So ndiyabulela kakhulu.
No, it's fine.
Just full disclaimer, but ndihlele emotweni apha ne. Yeah.
All right.
Because endlini kubhizi hectic. So ndihlele emotweni.
No, it's fine.
I will ask for you to forgive the noise if you could get more. And the earphones don't seem to want to work. So apologies.
Okay, no, I couldn't like.
Okay. Moment, center. Okay. So Luvuyo, for the purpose of this conversation, to the audience, I did a little intro recording before you came on. But I can't really do you justice because umninzi man ugcwele. So I just I'd like for you to do an introduction about Ngubani Luvuyo, the man behind iinkumbuzo photography, and what is it that what you all about.
All right. Sit in English, Xhosa.
Siyamekisa Bhuti, I'll do translation word to word for the people. I mean, masihambe nazo noba yeyiphi.
All right. Okay. Igama nguLuvuyo, surname nguNgxiki. Most people know me as Vovo, you know. Born and bred in PE. Yes. Ngikhulele site. So everything I'm doing around PE. I'm a speaker. I'm a photographer, and I'm an entrepreneur. So that is what I do. I'm a married man. I'm married to a beautiful woman, Nolundi.
Gorgeous.
Yes. And I think, I don't know, Dilap. Then obviously there are other accolades. I was fortunate to be a top 40 under 40 for the business chamber in PE. I was also man of honor by Vision for Women. I was also the Power of 40 with Destiny Man magazine. I'm also an entrepreneur for a young entrepreneur quick business competition at Mercedes-Benz. I think those that I can think of at the moment, but I think there's more.
There is
I
more.
don't know. Yes. I hope I've answered, Jane.
Okay. No, you have. You have. And that's one of the reasons that I chose to speak to you about this conversation. I remember when I was thinking about it and thinking about, abantu abaninzi were asking me, what can we do in this time of crisis? Abanye abanasikolo, abanye baphelelwe imisebenzi. And as I was mulling over it, just praying over it, and then it was actually a post you posted on Facebook that connected me to what you were talking about at the time. And that's when I decided that you were the man that I would like to speak with, because you have such vast wealth of experience behind you. Considering a life story yakho, where you come from, what you've been through, what you pushed to achieve, and it is so humbling, and it's such an honor. So I wanted to touch Kwezondo, so that we can see if we can put together resources for abantu that would otherwise not have the opportunities as available, or not know where to look or how to go about it. So that is basically the point of this conversation, how we can use these skills that we have, our resources around us, to build sustainable futures for Tina, for abantwana bethu, for the legacy that continues. So I am wakhona enkosi.
Okay. Thanks also for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
thank you.
It is an honor, but it is quite an honor. So I'll just get into it quickly. So I have a quote up at "In the midst of crisis lies a great opportunity" by Albert Einstein. It's one of my favorite quotes, and it just spoke and resonated with this time of crisis in the country and in the world as well. And then looking at Story Sako, I mean, I don't know if you had other ventures or other skills that maybe you thought you wanted to do during your time in prison, or after that you wanted to chase and look into. But what I want to get to is why photography? I mean, and why, and how did you decide to make it into a business?
Okay. Look, when I was actually 15, I think 15 or 14, I had a camera. But at the time, I was very young, and there's a camera, there's no film. So I'll take pictures of friends, schooling. So it was not really a business for him, and I didn't even think it could be a career for him. Then fast forward, I became involved in crime, and then I ended up doing time. So later, I then decided that I want to be a lawyer. So I was a law student at NMU. And while I was busy with LLB, I actually needed money. I needed money because I was always at school. So I didn't really have a chance to go and hustle. So I had to think of something that I can do while I'm pursuing my studies, while I'm busy with my LLB. And the only thing that I could think of at the time was if I could get myself a camera and that I carry on with LLB, then weekends or holidays or whenever I can just take pictures, make money, extra income. So I just wanted extra income where, I can carry on. So the idea was always, I'm going to be an advocate. I'm going to be, big in the law industry. So that's how I started to do India photography. I was a law student. I wanted extra income. So I decided to buy a camera, and that's how it started.
Yeah. And then when did you decide in Dobana there is, or how did you see the profitability of it becoming a long time business, and how did you get into it? What kalanjan? What registerisha or wenjanjan?
Okay. So the business LLB, and we must say with our society, it sounds in a respect, and it carries a weight to say you are a lawyer.
Yes.
Versus I'm a photographer. In fact, not even a photographer, ngumfoti. So ukuthi ungumfoti versus you are an advocate. In a more respect, and so I struggled with law. So for a while, I would always explain to people, hey, I'm just doing the photography for extra income, So I wasn't really proud, this is something. I always explained because of even now I had a problem with versus ubambe advocate, nobani 40.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that it's you fall back on. Not necessarily it's something you dream of,
Okay.
So it took me a while. I think at some point I was supposed to go write an exam or a test, and I had a commitment also for photography. And I chose photography instead of going to write a test. Yeah, and that I told myself, okay, I'll just put in a sick note and then I'll write a sick test. Yeah, and here I started accepting more gigs for photography than being in the lecture.
Wow.
And then I think the biggest problem that I had, and I think a lot of people also have, is when we think photography, we associate it with the photographer that we grew up seeing. So we only have a memory with an association with umlo 10 rand for a picture.
Yes.
So it was only when I was looking at the photography and looking at opportunities, and I realized, actually I can be a millionaire as a photographer. And I started seeing other opportunities beyond just taking a picture for 10 rand. I then got to realize all the companies, magazines, TV, just everywhere, they need to capture. You need pictures, you need film, you need this content, reports, everything. And then I realized, no, man, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Then from that point, I had to have a meeting with my family. I was already a married man, but I had to also even go back to my mother, who was excited that her son is going to be an advocate.
Of course.
Her son is going to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
She's already telling friends and relatives, yo, hayi ke unyana wami uzaba ligqwetha. So she was disappointed. Ufuna uyeka for ubufote. Yo.
Akomani.
Uzoba umfoti. Uzofota abani? Abantu banefoni nje for ufota. And that's another thing. Why do I need a photographer when I've got an iPad, when I've got a phone with a camera, you know?
Yes.
So, yes. But yeah, that's how I decided.
Yeah.
That's how the decision was made. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to push and make it happen.
Yeah. Obviously, looking back, you have made it into a success. I mean, siyabona izinto ziyenzeka, and it gives us hope abakulandelayo that you really are doing it. And thinking of those challenges, because I was thinking, Ngoku, as you're talking, the fear of having to choose between law and this gift and the skill that you have that could possibly, because only wena wawubona vision yayo, wawuyibona future, wawuyibona ba it could become something bigger, but abanye abantu around you obviously didn't. So I wonder, was there fear involved in process yakho of making those decisions when you were writing down your pros and cons? I don't know if you do that, but during the reflection process yakho of having to come to them, umama, I mean, I know umama, they want the best for us, because I remember when I left the engineering to pursue arts, it was a very difficult decision, but at the end of the day, obviously they come around and yeah, they support you. But did you have fears in Dobana? Are you going to be broke? How are you going to support your wife, your new family? How are you going to build the dreams that you have ngoba ngumfoti? And because you're born on vision, and how did you navigate and deal with such?
All right. Fortunately for him, I'm a dreamer. So the only thing I could see was if you change. The only problem I had was the time, because I knew in Dobangabana I'm not going to make a lot of money at the beginning. So I was more concerned about the beginning than at the end.
Okay.
So I was really, really concerned. And it was actually hard because at some point we had to sell one car. At some point we had to share a car. Yeah, it was just hard. And, trying to convince abantu, but I just kept on doing it. I just kept on doing it. And I was fortunate to have friends and who supported and booked and actually paid even for the services that I was rendering. And that, I must say, it's always easier dealing with strangers than people that know you.
Okay.
It's always, yes. Strangers, they just want a service. They don't want to know where you come from. Okay. They're just interested in you're going to take the pictures. Yes. And then they talk to you. And at times, I think this works in both ways. At times, strangers are more comfortable to share a budget and say, hey, Bhuti, we've got a problem with money, so can you drop the prices, than having to explain themselves to someone that they know. So it helps. It helps with strangers are supporting strangers, yes, because they don't have to be judged. Yeah. We don't know each other. Come and run the service and then you leave. Yes. They're not going to come here and judge me or I can't afford an expensive photographer. So it works both ways. So I was fortunate as well. I got the support from Eqaleni.
Yes.
So yeah, it was hard. Yes, I did think, but now for me, I'm always thinking. I kept on looking at people that are successful. So I kept on looking Oprah, Tyler Perry. I kept on looking at Amanda Bakuti. This thing can be something big one day. So I would look and try so hard to find successful people, so that I can source my strength from those who have made it.
Okay.
Than listening to someone saying, "Oh, people have got phones, they won't need this," and. So I just kept on focusing on that. I think that's the way, and that's what carried me through as well.
Yeah. And just looking at sticking with it as challenges, I know you say one of the challenges was support, but you were fortunate in Dobana, you have this focus, and which is one of the things that I think a lot of us sometimes miss, that unzima we saw the vision iqala, but then izinto ziyagetyeza, so we are unsure, and then at the end of the day we end up either giving up, or people didn't support me anyway, or the question of money comes into, because when you're rendering a service you have to ask abantu batala, ne? So how did you navigate? Because it's interesting that especially elokishini, I find that there's this mentality of ndiyakwazi wethu, hayi man, you're not worth that much. Yeah, so how do you then, as somebody building a business, you know your worth, you know the quality of work that you bring to the table, how do you uyibize le mali ungayoyiki, but this is the price, this is the money that I want for the service, without ukubone uluza customers? Or do you have to weigh that up, especially xa uqala? Yeah.
Okay. When I started, I'll be honest, I was very cheap, because I wanted the volume.
Okay.
So people didn't know le brand yam, so they have no reason to be loyal. So I kept the prices very low, but I was also fortunate. It's in the business, your photography. Once you buy the camera, you own the camera. So after that, the expenses, operational costs, it says the answer, because it's not like I have to go buy and then put the mark up.
Yeah.
So all I'm selling is my time and me doing the work. So it's easy for me that I can accept 50 rand. It's easy for me that I can charge 1,000 rand.
Yeah.
So it's still the same. So it's not like I had to go buy in. So for me, it was easy to push for the volume, get people talking about iinkumbuzo, and then eventually and slowly raising prices, without even people noticing, hey, you've gone up, or keeping the low prices but with more volume. Yeah. So for me, it was important to go to. It's either you are charging a lot of money to get only one client, versus charging far less, but you get a lot of clients.
Yes.
So for me, it was important that I get a lot of clients.
Yes.
Because one client can disappoint you. So if you will rely on just having one client a day, whereas now I was focusing more on having a lot. Yeah. So I'll make a simple example. It's either you can charge 3,500 and then you expect maybe one client a day, versus charging 350, but you're pushing to get 10 clients. So if 2 clients or 3 clients disappoint you, you still made 2-point-something thousand. Yeah. You get it, Yeah. So versus if one disappoints you, you didn't get a cent.
Yeah, would try.
Wow. So for me, what I did, I looked at the experienced photographers who were charging a lot, and they were fighting with me, Bhuti. You know, I'm confusing the market. You know, people now won't be prepared to be paying. And I was looking at this thing, Bhuti, hey, now I'm going to push for the volume, and then I know I'm guaranteed each day I won't make less than 2,000 a day.
Yes.
And that means, Bhuti, I will be having people coming in, you know, than just expecting one client.
Yeah.
And that's how I grew.
Wow. And you have grown, Bhuti. I'm interested, because I'm thinking of branding and loyalty.
Okay.
There's just so much. Let me just say, there is so much. But hopefully, in the future, so any segment where we'll break down as Nizindo, like talking about money, because I really want to get into this money conversation. Because singabanye asange safundiswa ngemali, and we don't know how to manage imali, and branding also. I want to talk a little bit about branding, since you brought it up. That you, because ndiyakubukela man, you are always on point. With always, if you're a female, we would say your edges are like sorted, your edges are but you are always on point. Now, was that a decision that you made intentionally for your personal branding as well as the business, or did it just happen that way? Indobana, this is your messaging, this is what you're putting across, this is what you want people to see, and therefore people need to buy into this, because basically they're buying into you. I mean, how did that conversation happen for you?
Okay, I've always loved Imbasha. I've always loved Imbasha. And somehow I just understood that people buy into the person rendering service more than the actual service.
Yeah.
And you know, you can't have someone on a wedding, $500,000, and then you come when a payana ukwebile. You know, we photographer imdakana up around. No, people chose and they spend a lot of money. So they would expect clean. So for me, it was a no-brainer. I want to be right. So I sold, and obviously polishing the skills arm as well. So I pushed so hard. So for me, I'm also selling a lifestyle.
Yes.
So this thing, you know, how I rock up in the wind, and what I dress, what I say, how I behave, Payan. So if I've got people, I tell them to look clean. I tell them but push it actually, you know. So for me, I'm happy you noticed Londo, because I do put an effort, you know. I put an effort to Londo Legend.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it's beautiful to watch, Bhuti, and Nyanisha, you siyakubukela. We might say it. I remember when you see team. Yeah, appetizer the photo. And I was like, okay. Yeah, appetizer. So you're doing it. Well done. You're doing it. And also just kulendo uyithethayo indobana you were always there, and then you decided indobana you must upgrade yourself. Zintoni ezinye othe wazenza during this course of learning about a business? I mean, you did not always know what business requires, what business needs, but then you upscaled yourself. I mean, if you look at photos that you took 7-8 years ago versus ngoku, uyayibona growth, uyayibona, and the videos as well. I mean, I've been watching some of the weddings that you captured, and it is just nje umsebenzi wakho umhle uyabukeka, but then you can see that umuntu ukhulile over the time. What
Yes.
did you use to upscale yourself, to upgrade yourself? And I suppose it ties in with landuba ubukela abanye abantu, Tyler Perry, that or Oprah.
Yes.
But then within the industry yakho, how did you grow yourself?
Okay. YouTube played a very important role. I would watch a lot of YouTube, probably every day in the morning. I'd go through videos and try to find out. And that whenever I would attend something where I'm not booked, but I see Bhuti, there are people, or it's a production company, I'll go to them, I'll take pictures of their equipment, and then I'll try and engage them. At times, obviously, there will be those who are rude and be like, hey, we're busy here, please just go, Yeah. And then there will be others are okay to actually share and be excited, but there is someone who's excited about the industry. So they will exchange numbers, and then I'll ask, where did you get this equipment? How much is it? And then I got to understand as well, we go to the quality, anything has everything to do with equipment ephethe, more than ukuthi wena une-skill. So ukuthi, for the better lens, it becomes expensive. Yeah. So I'll pick up very early ukuthi lighting is important. The lens that you're using is important. The camera that you're using is important, and then to make skill circle and the composition and how you take this. But those things are very important. That is why I would say even to ladies, girls, light is important. Even animals, when you're taking a selfie, if you take a selfie at 12, versus you take a selfie when it's close to a sunset, without the sun kissed, and photography, it is important with lighting. So I also realized as well, if clients would say, I want to take pictures, and then they'll just tell you whatever time. So it's your responsibility as a photographer to say, Bangabana, what you want, we can't capture it at 12 o'clock. What you want, let's rather do it in the sunrise or in the sunset. But if this is the only time they have, you need then to find in the proper lighting.
Yes.
So as a photographer, I got to also educate the clients. Educate the clients. And what I like as well is I'll explain to them, this thing is going to be expensive because this is what I would need and for this to be right. So others would leave saying, but after a while, I'll meet them again and they will say, hey, Bhuti, you were right. We ended up using so and so, and the pictures were horrible.
Wow.
And I could see what you're talking about. Yeah. So you were right. We didn't use you, but we respect you.
Yeah.
So next time we will book you, don't worry.
Wow.
And it's always nice when they book again and then you assist and they say, Bhuti, we're here forever now.
Yeah.
So yes.
And that's a wonderful thing about your work is being appreciated, and the value that you put in, the extra hours of either watching YouTube or getting it. Oh, and by the way, do you have a mentor? Do you have mentors and people that you look up to, and the people that you talk to to processes?
Look, I've got a lot of mentors.
Yeah.
Because there are people who will be good for the cameras.
Okay.
So I only talk to those about cameras and quality and what's in the market, what's coming up, And then I would have a mentor talking about finances, like talking about money, talking about anything. Then I'll also have another. So I've got different mentors for different things for Ubombam.
Okay.
So I do have.
Yeah.
I do have. And I also have people that I look up to, and I look at them, and people are not always available to talk.
Yeah.
But I also admire them from afar, and whenever we get a chance to talk, I will share izinto, So I do have.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty good. And just nje ndicela usiphe highlights, a few highlights that have been so very good business. You can tie in with personal because your business is your personal win. You don't have the luxury of being detached, unfortunately. Or you chose not to have the luxury of being detached, that your business is your everything. So what were some of the highlights that keep you going, that when you look back, this is why I do what I do? If you could share Ezo with us.
The favorite line that I get from Ebantwini, when they meet and then I'm introducing myself, and then I say, no, the photographer, and then they look at me, and then it gets to a point where photographer for who, for what's your company? And then I say, iinkumbuzo photography. And they're like, wow, are you the guy?
You're the guy.
I love iinkumbuzo. Yo. And then they call friends. Hey, friend, come. You're not, here's that guy.
Selfie.
So for me, it feels, Bhuti, we've actually developed a brand.
Yes.
This actually means with this, I would only say this for celebrities. So I'm not a celebrity, but if people are doing this, it means you've done something great. So that response, that reaction, for me, it really, I feel, Bangabana, we've done something. Yeah. And yes, man, it always feels good. That's one. And then growing up, I've always wanted to go to America. So 2 years ago, we went to New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
My favorite city in the world. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we went to New York. We were there for, I think, 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks. So for me, that's another highlight. Wow. That's another highlight.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important to say this. A lifestyle that this business has afforded us, it's something that we don't take for granted. The houses, the cars we're driving, it's through this business, So I want to say that is the biggest highlight. When this thing, lockdown started, I think on my second or third day, I said to my wife, hey, as I've done so many things, but buying this property and having the life now, I must say we are fortunate to move. It's a 6-bedroom house. It's got everything, swimming pool. We're doing everything here. At some point, I was running around the house for jogging. We were not allowed to jog outside.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's just something else. Yeah. So a lifestyle it came and it's possible through the businesses here. Yeah. I think that's just another highlight. Yeah.
It is a beautiful highlight because I remember I don't remember when you got the house, but I remember when you started posting photos, Zako Ukoba, and just umhlaba that you have in the pool. And I'm thinking, this guy, and then the cars, and I'm thinking, Mara, does it have no end? Do you ever think, I know, Ubana, when lockdown happened, actually, you said in one of the videos that you want a Porsche, and it is coming. I know, so that you have not yet arrived, but to hear you being appreciative of where you are right now, Yabona, and through all the hard work that you've done, we look up to it and see Fune from afar, but I don't know how many of us actually understand what goes into it. the years that you put into it, the sweat, the tears, the heartbreaks, and everything that goes into it. So if you could share a little bit about, I know we've spoken about the highlights. So if we could talk a little bit about the not so highlights, mhlawumbi, but things that maybe were lessons to you, or things that you would do over or read or change in this journey of yours through a business. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, let me say this. Yeah? Let me say this. I want to see if my phone is charging. Okay, I don't know whether it's charging. Business, when you become popular, when your business becomes like a brand and goal, you must also understand that when people are asking for rain also comes with mud.
Yes, I love that.
So you can't be excited for rain and yet you don't want the mud.
Yeah.
That means in the Bangabana, I don't even believe much in haters. I don't even put much energy about talking about haters. I understand a band who would say bad things about me. It's not about me. It is about them. You know? So, and I don't even hate them. I just understand Uguti. At times, abanye bantu, it means you are doing what they want.
Yes. Okay.
That's what it means, Uguti. You are actually living iphupho labo.
Yes.
And they don't understand, Uguti, how are you getting it right, Wena? What is this? Why is this guy? Why this guy? Why this guy?
Yeah.
So at times they would even feel annoyed by someone who would appreciate Wena.
Yeah.
They will try and think, if they can, they will think of something bad that you've done with a creature.
Yes.
And say, I remember a creature was channel. You know? So that's to discredit, you know.
Wow.
So that's the disadvantage once you make it. You will have a band. And unfortunately, it's not a lot of people there. Out of 100 people, you would have 90 people that love you. Then you will have 5. Ne? And then you will have another 5 that is very loud. And then that loudness will sound, is a 9 that loves you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's 1. And then 2, once the business grows, you also now get to a point where capacity is a challenge.
Okay.
So with capacity, it means you must hire people.
Yes.
Now here is the challenge, Kengo. You get to a point where you can't afford graduates for what you want them to do. So I can't afford someone with a degree in photography.
Yes.
But for me to get a gig from a corporate, like could be VW,
yeah,
you know, they want an induction video. So, or they want me to do an advert for Coca-Cola. Now, Coca-Cola has been there for years. So they are used to dealing with production companies who would ask for 5 million for an advert. So if I would come, I say, I want 5,000 for the advert, they would already know, I will. The advert in the 5,000. And that came over. For me to do advert for the Coca-Cola, I need professionals.
Yes. Yes.
But now I can't afford to pay professionals. And that Coca-Cola, for them to give me an opportunity, they want to see what I've done before.
Yes.
That's the biggest challenge, Kimbo.
Wow.
You need to show Coca-Cola what you can do it.
Yeah,
so they want to see what
yes.
you've done.
Yes.
But for you to do something, you need professionals.
You need those people. Jeez.
And then the professionals you can't afford now because you need money from Coca-Cola for you to afford them.
Sure. And then what do you do?
You start doing the small ones. So if you can't afford Coca-Cola, you then convince umntu wespaza. You convince umntu we-construction company. There's a good friend of mine, Uthando Mhlobiso. Uthando Mhlobiso benike opportunity to capture into yakhe construction.
Yes.
So it progressed yakhe construction. So they had a project. So I was capturing every day, you know. And then once I had that, it was then easy for me, which I've got a product to show someone else which I can do this.
Yes.
And then doors started opening for me. Which, okay, you can do this. And then obviously you start building, start building, and then it's there.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things which you need ABBA, but now they, those are the disadvantages.
Yes. I like that you touched on your friend Uputando, because I'm thinking now that we have, and going back to the thing here, resources and people that we have around us. Sometimes when you're starting out with businesses, asifuni that thing, you want to do it in silence so that they just see it afterwards. So and sometimes we miss opportunities because we realize that we have people around us that can support us, that can help us build the brand, that can help us build the portfolio, so such that we go forward with it. What would you say to that mindset that we struggle with? Because Tina, we have this thing, they take my idea. The idea, vision, you have the blueprint, but somehow at the back of your mind, you are worried about umambanbani and next door, and so is going to steal your idea. What would you say? How can we combat that mindset to move forward?
For me, let's go back to Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola is always advertising. Can you imagine Coca-Cola athi andifuna uthetha ngam kodwa namathamba?
Yeah.
How are we going to know the Coca-Cola?
Okay.
Like, yes, so for me that's how I take it. Bangabana, I make noise. Now I make noise. I get a lot of people that would say to me, they are worried, hey, I mustn't share. I share too much. And, and in Benewariabo,
yes.
To an extent, even if I'll still find something to talk about.
Okay.
That's who I am, So, part yam in the and then okwesibini abantu abaworried ngento bangabana ubantu Monel. Do you know I want us to have a lot of photographers? That's what I want. Because once we have a lot of photographers, when you will have more, because abantu bazoqala usharisha, they will start comparing. And then I don't even drop the prices for umntu. I don't do that. I don't have the race going down.
Okay.
Hey, I saw so and so ufuna 50 rand when ufuna 1,000 rand.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. I'll afford 1,000 rand. Come back.
Yes.
I can't be dropping it.
Wow.
To 50 rand because when you're talking Momdu 50 rand, you can't come to me and say, but the other photographer here in PE is charging far less. No, it's fine. That is actually good. Because I'll save money. So I'm doing good hours. You save money. I think that's the right person. I'm not confused. Negotiate. Okay. No. It's okay. It's okay. Yes. And then I took a Bhuti. If let's look at how much you have. And then what is it that you don't need? These services are. Then we see one.
Yes.
So instead of me bringing 2 cameras, let me bring 1 camera. Instead of me up for 10 hours, let's do this thing in 6 hours.
Yeah.
Then I'm okay dropping the price.
Yeah.
Then when ke ngoku bamba ixesha uba punctual. So you really do not need 10 hours for this. We get 6 hours will capture your game. Then we negotiate ke ngoku ba I didn't lose. Now if
Wow.
Yeah, so for me, it came ngoku. We need more people. That's why I don't mind sharing ideas because we need more people. Yeah, but we can't just have the Fergusons doing all the films in South Africa.
Yeah.
Did you understand?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong, but we need more.
Yes.
Because there are actors who are complaining about this and that. Actors, they want work.
We need
but actors don't want to produce and don't. And that is okay. That is okay. So Tina, we need more filmmakers.
Yeah.
Without talking bad, we need more. You know. So I don't mind. I really don't mind. But if we have more, let's have more.
Let's have
more.
Yeah.
It's gonna help me. You know. It's okay. It's okay.
How you say
more.
that?
Because once you have more of something, then it becomes a lifestyle.
Yes.
Do you know Bangabana? Wow. Do you know Bangabana? There was a time where people didn't care if the event you have been a cameraman or not. But right now, if your event didn't have a photographer, you have to fail in. Wow. You even get a pressure from the people that are attending. But friend, open port.
Yes.
No, there were times where I'll get a call. I told the Bhuti, this is not my event. If even the friend they are pick up a Bhuti. Gonna pay you. We can't be here because photograph. This is the moment way if I'm free. So we've created in the it's a masking work.
Yes.
So
I love
getting
it.
to the point we can't keep quiet.
Yeah.
We can't be worried about our target. We can't be worried about our team, about they're even worried about if Uchina Oshobo was a clear also will. I can't be concerned about
yes.
And the so Satana family.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, we'll deal with the family. But
yeah, and then you will share because of A, B, C, D, and E. This is what I didn't take into account. This is what I'm learning, and this is what I'm taking forward. Wow.
I'd write a book about who.
Yeah. Speaking of Ingwadi, how is it coming?
You know what? In lockdown because look, people say you will never really happy. You will always want to change things. Yes. But what has happened is I started reading even more books.
Okay.
And then when I looked at the books, it was like I've been listening to your items up. You know? So I was like But the story doesn't change.
Okay.
The only thing even the Jonga is the angle.
Okay. Yeah.
So the only thing I was looking at as well was I want a book that can also be as Golwyn. So I started thinking differently. So if I would want a book that was Golwyn, how I would write it will also be important.
Yes. Yes.
You know? So but definitely we are racing this year. Definitely because we got to a point where we were also saying if it needs and another book, then we'll do another book. Yes. But you will never really be happy and say all the authors, they're always worried with they're missing out this, they would want this, they would want that. Yep. So when you laugh of yes.
And yeah, I like what you said, Indovana, you le lockdown ikuncedile. I mean, a lot of us, when it started, we were so excited, man. We were finally going to do ezazinto that we were planning to do for so long. And then gradually, slowly, momentum started dropping to such a point that abantu, they don't know when we don't know when we're coming out of it. We don't know what we're going to do when we come out of it. And so I know you touch on the book and some of the things that you've learned personally in your growth. You are swimming, you are planting, you are doing a lot of things during this lockdown. Awe siyahamba nawe. But what can you say as advice or some pointers to somebody who is feeling right now they're not sure what to do or how to start going about it during this lockdown? I mean, it is a time where the world has completely stopped, and for some of us we are looking at it for opportunities, but abanye abantu are disheartened into bana, okay, I will start but then I will lose momentum, and then once lockdown is over, how will I go back to maintaining? What would you say to umuntu who feels olahlobo? How would you?
Okay, look, I'd say what is important at the moment and what in lockdown is actually forcing everyone is to check yindone essential.
Yeah.
So okay. Even opportunities, what is it ngoku important ehambayo? The opportunity, actually, imagine, let's talk to someone or pilang events. We already know about this year, without that there will be an event.
Yeah.
This year. Are you going to sit and wait for next year or in the next 2 years before Ungen's event?
Yeah.
If we traveling agent, who will be traveling Klonyaka next year? So it means that person, okay, this, we are not going to make money.
Okay.
No way that we're going to make money. So in the let us join must join any business, and then join by what is it that is needed? Because there's even a challenge of visa izinto from ngaphandle. So exports and imports same like because countries is value. So you don't know your ends and work. So a chance, I'd say by one chance to upino join reposition, and then ujong by you don't know what we ends and work. That's what I would say. That's one. And then two, ujong in the una more time work for in the way you can rent alone.
Yes.
That is what I can say.
And how do you go about rendering Londo Leo when Sigu lockdown? I mean, where we can, yeah.
Look, what people are missing, the lockdown. Government are not problem when that end.
Okay.
So our core entirely locked. We are locked so that they can in a spread cool.
Yes.
But from it level 5, level don't. Maybe have a
yes.
Maybe have a manes. Maybe have a police. Maybe have the traffic cops. Maybe have about the journalist. There's a command of an cover then in your career. Maybe I'm a jam. It is because they were allowed.
Yes.
So maybe I'm a jam. It means now I can walk into Bangabana. Ofana nababan first bala. But click him when you are saying you will be offering it's an again, you are allowed. Sanitizer, we want to do an like
yes.
No man doing like food parcels, NGO app. Allowed because you niggas like so it came up on the lane of Bangabana. Kana is that to Sako, so kuahamba. See important. See 10, you are not on lockdown.
Yeah.
We lockdown.
Yes.
Bye so we're talking of one leg. You become important.
Oh, wow. So we really need to sit down and sijonge uba sindawuni, reposition ourselves and find out what is essential, what is needed, and then from there then we can build, then we can add.
Yes, and look, example we can't expect everyone to sanitize.
Yeah.
We can't all do that.
Ne-mask, but sanitizer, ne-mask.
Yes, we can't be lab. But if you really want to be payana, ungathenga izinto bangabana aba bathenga isanitizer ne bathenga kubantu ozenzileyo. So uchoose nawe into bangabana uchoose into bangabana okay when you want to be the one odibansayo.
Yes.
When 25 liter and then when boxes for others to come and buy for uthengisa. So funeka uchoose as well ba when uklona when the packaging.
Okay.
So sikhe sicinge mani like nje singabi sonke yendithengisa isanitizer yendifuna ithenda isanitizer no ke sijonga yintoni and then ungajongi if you decide ungena kula industry ungajongi just sanitize ujonge izinto zoba ngabana funeke ngoku kufumigatwe inantsiki buildings. What are they using phayana yabona to disinfect? What is it? What chemicals are they using? You know, une-company izakwenza loo nto ungena ezindlini izikolo before zivule izikolo kuzawukwenziwa izinto. Who's going to get that tender?
Yes.
You know, if protective gear, who's busy the protective gear? Ungathengisa imask yodwa but awunayo impahla nento. So for me ingange abantu thinking sibe yabo nje yeah. I think that's how I can put it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Actually, that is perfect because at the end of the day, awufuna spoon feed umuntu makaphakama acinge for themselves, but then you are giving us guidelines on how to go about it, and which is much appreciated. Sure. Okay, I'm looking at your question. I'm looking at your battery as fire. But it's just so much. Bhuti, I am going to say masibambapa for now. I'm hoping that you will again be so gracious to accept my next invitation, because I would really like us to talk about finance, break it down into bana. How do you manage finance and how do you prioritize? Especially you have to take care of your family, you have to take care of extended families, you have to take care of abantu that you are in business with, and also your employees and such, and growing a finance. Like I said, we did not have the opportunity of being taught how to manage finance. So when we have people like you who we see doing it, we would like to really pick your brain about such things and others in the future.
No, thank you so much for inviting me, Nam. Thank you.
I appreciate it so much, and enjoy the rest of your lockdown, and and Godspeed.
Sharp, bye bye.